Hi, this is me before October 9th, 2018. I had no idea how much my life was about to change. Sometimes I look at these pictures and wish I could tell her what was coming, but I also wish I could tell her something else. That one day she'd smile again, she'd walk again, and she'd discover a purpose that she never could have imagined. Hello, welcome everyone. If you're new here, my name is Karen. I'm a stroke survivor, a cancer survivor, and someone who believes that even in life's hardest seasons, hope is still possible. Today, I want to share a story with you about the day that changed my life, October 9th, 2018. I had absolutely no idea that by the end of that day, I'd be fighting for my life. Life was incredibly busy. My husband and I were in the middle of packing to move to another state. And with only a few weeks left, there was still seemed like so much to do. I was working full time, trying to keep up with family responsibilities and juggling all the stress that comes with a big move. Like so many of us, I was just trying to hold everything together. But looking back now, I realized how completely exhausted I was. But at the time, I thought it was just stress. That morning, I woke up with one of the worst headaches I've ever had. My head was just pounding. It would come and go and come and go. It just didn't feel right. It didn't feel like a normal headache. I felt sick. I felt dizzy. The sunlight really hurt my head, but I went to work anyway. And I'm so thankful I did because if I would have stayed home, I probably wouldn't be here telling you this story. Once I got to work, everything got worse. The headaches became unbearable, and I started hearing this loud buzzing sound every time another headache hit. I knew something was seriously wrong. I went to the bathroom to call my husband, but instead, my right leg gave out, and then my right arm went completely limp. And in that instant, I knew I was having a stroke. There was one problem. The bathroom door was a heavy fire door. It opened inward, and I only had one working arm. I remember thinking, if I don't get out of here, I'm not going to make it. To this day, I honestly do not know how I made it out of that bathroom, but I scooted myself inch by inch until I finally got the door opened. Then I dragged myself down the hallway towards my boss's office. I swear it was the longest hallway in the world. Every inch felt impossible. When I finally reached her office, she immediately called 911. I remember repeating over and over, please help me, something's wrong. The ambulance ride is something I'll never forget. The sirens, the fear, the paramedics rushing all around me. Then I heard them tell the driver that my condition was getting worse. I honestly didn't think I was going to make it. When I got to the hospital, everything became a blur. There were doctors, there were nurses, there were machines all over the place, rushing all around. The last thing I remember was this nurse leaning over me, telling me she was going to take good care of me. And then nothing. I didn't wake up until November. When I finally woke up again, my life had completely changed. I had undergone brain surgery. I had a trach tube. I had a feeding tube. I had to relearn how to walk, how to talk, how to eat, even how to move my body again. Things we never think of became some of the biggest challenges of my life. While I was recovering, I made myself two promises. The first promise is that I would never give up, no matter how hard recovery became. And trust me, there were some days that I wanted to, but I didn't. The second promise I made myself that I would stay positive, not because everything was okay, but because that was one thing the stroke couldn't take away from me, was my attitude. Those two promises carried me through some of the darkest days of my life. If you've had a stroke or cancer or another life changing diagnosis, I want you to hear this. Recovery is not a straight line. There'll be days that you make progress, and then there's going to be days that you go backwards. That's totally normal. Healing takes time. And sometimes the smallest victories are actually our biggest victories. One of the reasons I started this channel is because when I was going through recovery, hearing other people's stories gave me hope. If sharing my story helps even one person feel less alone, then every difficult chapter I've gone through has a purpose. Thank you so much for spending these last few minutes with me. If this story connected with you, I'd love to hear your story. Has there ever been a day that completely changed your life? Tell me about it in the comments. I read every single one of them. And if you'd like to follow along as I share more about stroke recovery, resistance, faith, and rebuilding life after tragedy, I'd love to have you subscribe or follow my blog. I'll see you next week. Take care.